Coach Daisy.
Yes, Mutembei.
Karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
So, tumeangalia channel yako tukaona you are advising people wenye wako na stress, wenye wako na so many things wenye zinawatouch. And we thought it's good tukulete hapa leo kujaribu kuelimisha hao Wakenya wetu. People are killing themselves sana, suicide cases ziko juu. So, sijui kama there is advice you can introduce yourself alafu uchukue platform.
Hi, thank you so much, Mutembei. My name is Daisy. I am a counselor, but I base my counseling on biblical principles because I'm a Christian and I've also had further training as a biblical counselor. So, in as much as I went to school and learned about Freudian theory, Maslow, and so on and so forth, at the back end, I always come back to scripture. So, I don't know if you are aware that this week the DCI released a report that we had about 483 suicides, which have happened, I think, in the last 3 months, and they were saying that that is the highest number of suicides that have happened in this nation. And it is even worse that there is a report that World Health Organization, they reported and said that Kenya is ranking 4th in Africa in mental health issues and 9th globally. So you can imagine how badly we are doing out of all the billions of people living in Kenya. How can we be ranking 4th? I always used to think, and anyway, we may be fooled when we see Kenyans up and down. We think they're very happy people, like Kawanaga stress, but reality now is hitting ground. So you may ask yourself, what is suicide? Suicide is taking your own life in a, it's a tragic reaction to stressful life situations. And all the more tragic because suicide can be prevented. Whether you're considering suicide or know someone who feels suicidal, you need to learn suicidal warning signs and how to reach out for immediate help and professional treatment. You may save a life, yours or even someone else. So, if there's anything that 2020 taught us or this entire COVID season, you need to take a day at a time. Chukua siku moja kwa siku. Wacha kufikiria ya next month. Wacha kufikiria in 10 years time. You know, you get up today. Today is your future. Umeamka. Jana si ulikuwa. Kesho hujui mambo yake. Yeah? And we have seen there were so many deaths happening, whether they are COVID related or not. I don't know if you noticed, but there were so many funerals in 2020, and that continues to be. People are grieving, people are having a lot of loss in their lives. So the moment you wake up this morning, shukuru Mungu ya leo. Kwa sababu hata kwa sala ya Bwana, we pray, give us today our daily bread. Ni ya leo tu. Ya kesho Mungu anajua. Because he's the one who holds our life. So that is what I would say about suicide. And there are many causes of suicide, and some of them are like hopelessness. That is the main thing. Hopelessness. Kukosa, sijui nitasema aje kwa Kiswahili. Kukosa tumaini. Yeah? Hopelessness. Unaona kama maisha yako imefika mwisho. You have no future. You don't know about tomorrow. You see like you're worthless. Then there's job losses. I think if there's a time and a period in my life, I have dealt with so many people who I know who've had retrenchments, job losses, job inaisha kabisa, salary cuts. It was during this period of the COVID season. And then the other cause may be marital difficulties. They have the divorce cases in Kenya continue to be on the rise, separations, and issues like co-parenting. Hiyo pia inaletaga issue, mvutano. You know, you've separated, one parent is living with one child, another parent is living with maybe both children and is denying access to this other parent. That is also one cause of suicide. I don't know if you're familiar with the word and term familicide. Familicide is when a spouse kills his family, so he or she may kill the spouse and kill all the children. That is called familicide. And then after they have done the deed, they shoot themselves, or I mean, they use whatever method to commit suicide. And we have seen that one in Kenya. In fact, it has been, there was a period, I think, every week, there used to be an issue reported of a family where there was familicide. Death of a loved one, as I had mentioned, it's something that can cause suicide. Because the moment you get stuck in the negotiation phase of grieving, you're unable to move forward. So you get stuck there and you feel now this person is gone, my life is no more. Most of the times it happens in a family setting or spouse. So if someone loses their spouse or loses their child, someone may be caused to feel suicidal. Another issue is long-term illness. Uh, let me speak from experience. I had a sister who passed on just after Mutahi Kagwe shut, informed us that there was COVID. She had had a long battle with ill health for about 3 years. And we never ever got to know what the issue is. We moved from one hospital to the other. We moved even around the nation of Kenya. In fact, now where we were as a family, we were thinking, sijui nini tutauza so that we can take her to India. And at the time of her death, she was at Kenyatta National Hospital. And when she went there, I remember 2 weeks before she went there, she called me. I called her. I asked her, "How are you doing?" Because she was living with one of my sisters on Thika Road. And she told me, "Hey, mi mahali sasa nimefika. Nimewasumbua sana. I mean, you have done, I think you people have done your bit." And she told me, "Come and see me." Lucky enough, I told my husband, we called our sisters and brothers elsewhere, and we went. We went to see her and encourage her. And the worst thing is that I remember she told me, "Plait me my hair, because sasa hata siwezi enda salon." She was suffering many ailments, and we were never getting to the bottom of it. Because this week she's in hospital, she's hospitalized, we're told this is the issue. People now are buying oxygen. As people in my family, we started buying oxygen for my sister many months before COVID. I think a whole year before COVID. And it was difficult to see. She could not stay without oxygen because her oxygen levels really used to go down and she'll just collapse. So, and most of the time she had to be in hospital because of oxygen. So as a family, we decided, you know what? Let's get this oxygen, and she just stays at home. Whenever she's too bad, we can take her to hospital. And she had those sentiments many times. She'll tell me, "Me, I'm done. Daisy, I'm done. Nimewasumbua sana, tumeenda, nimechinjwa, nimefanywa hivi, nimefanywa biopsy." Some of the procedures were very painful. So most of the times when there's a long-term illness, it may cause someone to feel like they are burdened. Even disability. People who were maybe in a crash, in an accident, and then now they're disabled. Someone who has been able to do things for themselves, and now they can no longer do it. They feel like they are burdened and they feel there's no hope. I mean, this is it. I'll rather die. Yeah. Another cause is academic failures. That one we are very used to see, especially whenever the Kenya National Examination for KCP and KCSE, whenever results are released, we do not take very long before we hear one of those young candidates committed suicide. And now it's also becoming a bit more common in the universities, and especially I think in some faculties, the faculties of engineering and medicine. I don't know, it's too tough or what happens, or someone who was called by joint admission board and that was not their dream. I have no idea. Um, then there are self-esteem issues, especially with teenagers. We know the many challenges adolescents and teenagers face as they're growing up, as their bodies are changing, and they may hate how they're looking at that particular point, or they just feel they're not good enough, and they feel hopeless. As a result, most of them do commit suicide. Now, I'm going to speak about an issue which is a bit sensitive. Poor parenting may cause children to feel unloved, and children may commit suicide. I think it was not long ago, we had over 9-year-olds. Actually, that is even in the statistics that were released by the DCI here in Kenya. The youngest person was 9 years old. 9 years old is a child. Is a child. So you wonder, and there was no note. So you wonder what exactly caused the death of this child. For a young child to feel they're hopeless to the extent that they take their life. I think most of these issues go back to poor parenting. Because even when you meet with these children and you ask them, why are you feeling the way you're feeling? Most of them, they'll say, oh, my mother doesn't love me, or my father no longer loves me. And especially where there are issues of abandonment, where one parent abandons one child, and maybe this child was very attached to that particular parent. That may be a cause to suicide. Poor parenting. The other issue, can you imagine you've gone through all this? You have lost your job as a parent. You yourself, you're feeling suicidal or you're depressed. How will you parent well? It's impossible, because you're already thinking, and you have so much stress on you that you are so at that point you're so selfish. You're just thinking about yourself and how to move out of the situation you are in, that you will be unable to move out and give back. Higher. Then the other one is legal difficulties. Legal difficulties, especially in Kenya, seems to be the norm. Kesi za mashamba, kesi za inheritance, divorce, child custody. I listened to a story this week of a woman who has been in the courts of this nation for the last 8 years, following up on a child. For 8 years, her child was taken away from her by her ex-husband when that child was, I think, 19, she said 19 months. And she's been in this court, high court, court of appeal. Which court? And finally, the ruling was made. And it was a very unfair, in my own opinion, because I'm entitled to an opinion as a Kenyan and even as a human being. Because can you imagine a child you bore as a mother? You're given access to that child 9 hours in a year. 9 hours in a year. That means, according to what she was explaining, that she's been given access to her daughter 3 hours each holiday for a whole year. And it is supervised. There's the father of the child is present, and a social worker is present. I really felt for that woman. And if you're watching this, you know yourself, please reach out to me. I would like to work with you, because that is something that can make someone so depressed, so stressed, and they lose hope in life. The other issue in legal difficulties, a lengthy divorce. You're tired, you're done with this person, and in fact, I think there's another ruling I had from one of the courts that they said that there's no enough reason to give that couple a divorce. But nyinyi wenyewe mnasikia mumemalizana, you're not together anymore. So in such a place, you can imagine the stress. That is when now things like family sides happen, because you are trying to go the legal way, muachane. kama watu wazima and in good faith without harming each other, and then you go to court and the court denies. So they went to Court of Appeal, and I'm really happy to hear that they were actually awarded. I am not pro-divorce, but in such a situation, especially now with the family side that has been happening in our nation, I always feel it is better for people to separate than kill each other, and especially kill the children. So that is another legal difficulty. Legal difficulties, cases are mashamba. We know them. People who've been going to court. There's a woman who was, I think, was also shown in the media that she's been in court for the last 30-something years, trying to access her late husband's wealth, property. But hiyo kesi mara file imekosa, mara what? Tell me, isn't it very easy for that person to become hopeless and lose hope and just finish off themselves? Just mimi ni wanini? What else am I waiting for? The other issue, financial difficulties, especially debt. Debt. Kenyans, you can relate. We have mobile applications for debt. Bank centers text messages, especially if you're salaried or you have a business and they can see the numbers in your account. They woo you. And most Kenyans, and maybe world over, we are living a lie, taking debts that are necessary. Then the chicken come home to roost. You can't pay, you now are on CRB, you never paid your help loan, you're looking for a job, you qualify for that job, but you're CRB and there's nothing that can clear you apart you pay for that, the loan that you have. You auctioneers are calling, perhaps you're not even mentioned to your family, you had attached assets. Financial difficulties can totally make you feel like there's no hope for tomorrow, especially debt. The other cause is bullying and abuse. Bullying is wide, and especially in this era of social media, please be kind. Be kind to people. There's no need of being arrogant and unkind. Just be pleasant. It warrants you nothing. There's nothing that you lose by being kind. You'd rather be silent. Don't bully people because we are all facing different things. You can imagine you're bullying any of these people. Someone who has lost loved ones, someone who is maybe having a long-term illness, someone who is having academic failure. They're already at their end, and then you bully them. You wouldn't want that blood to be upon your hands.
Waambie because wamezoea kunibuli.
Hata wewe unabuliwa. Yeah, stop bullying. It adds no value to you. Yeah, in as much as you're entitled to an opinion, always ask yourself, put yourself in that person's shoe. Ask yourself, if I was the one who was receiving this comment, how would I feel? Or my daughter or my son, or even my mother or father, or my sister or brother, how would I feel? You know, think from that other end. That will help you not to type anything nasty. The other issue is abuse. Sexual abuse, sodomy, rape, physical abuse in marriages, in relationships, emotional abuse in relationships and in marriages. This can drive someone to suicide. Now, if you've ever had a previous suicide attempt, chances are you'll try again. And if there's anybody out there who has ever attempted, call me. Look for me. I will help you. Because if you never saw a therapist, that issue was not resolved. And it's going to come back. It's going to come back. If there's a history of suicide in your family because of the genes, the way we are built, our bodies are built by God, some of these things are actually hereditary. Mutembe, you might need to call me back to speak more on this one because I always feel there's also a spiritual angle to it.
Utakuja. We have a lot to cover. Lazima, but acha tuendelee kwanza.
Yes. So if there is a history of suicide in your family, chances are Somebody in that family might also do the same. Alcoholism and substance abuse, which is becoming very, very rampant, you know. And some of these people who are actually getting into alcohol addiction and substance abuse, if you're not in the category of teenagers, you're a fully grown adult, chances are you are depressed and you looked for something to hold you. You know, it's like your crutch. Eh? You're feeling like you have a disability, that hopelessness. You start a little. You have no joy. So you're seeking an outlet of joy, but with the wrong substance. With the wrong substance. Then there's depression, which is the number one uh, thing that I would like, and that's why I have saved it for last. Depression and bipolar disorder. These are mental health disorders. If you're depressed, you need help. And what are the signs of depression? Some of them is the moment you notice you want to recoil, you don't want to associate with people, and yet you are a social butterfly. For instance, you never minded being around people, you enjoyed be hanging around people, and there's withdrawal. That could be a sign of depression. Lack of sleep, insomnia. It's not all, it's not all, let me just use that caveat, but chances are if you're not sleeping easily, you could be depressed. If you're sleeping too much than normal, you could also be depressed. If you're
Normal,
not
normal,
moving,
normal ni gani?
normal 8 to 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours for an adult. Yeah. So if you're sleeping 12 hours a day, really, apana, it's not normal. It's not normal. Or you find, you can find someone who wakes up, maybe eats, goes back to bed because they are suppressing their issues than letting them out. And it's a ticking time bomb. Italipuka. Yeah.
Na
You a lot
mtu kama mimi, okay, na mtu kama mimi, I rarely sleep because
of your work.
I'm posting videos mpaka saa 7 saa 8.
Ehe,
Then unalala for 3 hours, you are up again 5.
ehe.
Hiyo inaleta depression.
What will happen? You'll get something called burnout. It will catch up with you. Burnout. Burnout. You'll be exhausted because we were created to be sleeping. Imagine animals sleep. Who are you not to sleep? Let me encourage you because I have a very good friend who happens to be my husband who's in the media. He also doesn't sleep. He's either editing or doing ABCD. And I usually tell him, you better sleep. Edit all you want. You can even edit all through to 5 a.m. when now me, I'm waking up. But me, when I wake up, please go to bed. Sleep even if it's for 2 hours. Eh? In between, take a nap. Because the bottom line is that you should at least do 6 hours together. So even for you, what I would advise you, sawa, lala hiyo saa 8 saa 10. Amka hiyo 5, uanze kuupload. Umelala 2 hours or 3 hours. In the course of the day, because I'm sure kuna mahali unasikia kusinzia hivi. Si ndio? Just take a nap. Just put the laptop to sleep. Hata usiondoke hapo kwa meza yako ya work table. Just bend. Sleep. Mpaka mahali usingizi itaisha. Yeah. And you will feel much more refreshed. And it's good for your health. Burnout will not catch up with you. But do you exercise?
I rarely get out of the house.
You need to exercise. You need to exercise. Watu wa media ni wengi wanakuwa na shida, and most of them, the issue with media personalities, the issue with them, they work so hard. I think they're so passionate to their jobs, and the demands of their jobs are very high. But Tumewaona wengi wakisema walikuwa depressed. On camera and back camera people. They are coming out. We are seeing them now. They are saying I was depressed, and you're like, huh? Hata huyu. So have your sleep. It helps you function well as a human being. And wherever you feel, and then there are those people who just naturally, hawanaga usingizi. There are people who are like that. What do you do in such a state? Wherever you feel sleep. Just sleep. Take that nap. Even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, just take that nap. It will refresh you and it will help you. It will help you. Because imagine, most of our brain cells regenerate when we are asleep. Yeah. So I was talking about depression, but let me not go too much into it. I come back to the issue, the symptoms to look out for suicide. Suicide warnings. If someone is talking about suicide, for example, someone saying, I'm going to kill myself. I wish I were dead. I wish I hadn't been born. Mimi naweza ingia hiyo nyumba niwamalize wote. That should just ring alarm bells. Yeah. There are those people, I remember when we were growing up, we would tell my mom, or even you'd hear someone say, hey, jana niliambia madhi, nitajiua. And they would, that time, our parents would say, jiue hata we siwe wa kwanza, tutakuzika tu. Now, the plateau is totally different. If your child tells you that, please sit with them, look for professional help, let them get help. You cannot tell them tutakuzika, wacha tuchimbe kaburi. That's what our parents used to do. And I think maybe because that time there were no enough stressors, and they knew very well there's nothing you can do. I think the dynamics have totally changed. Higher. Now, the other symptom or a warning sign. If you see someone starting to stock up pills, you see someone buying a rope, na hamna ng'ombe, you have no cow, you don't even have goats, you're living in a flat, the clothing lines are already there. That's alarm bells. Someone buying pesticides, hakuna panya kwenu, hakuna, they're buying these pesticides which are known to be very lethal to human beings, poison. That's an alarm bell. As I had said, some of these things you hear they also tie to depression, withdrawing from social contacts and wanting to be left alone. There are people who are loners just naturally because that is their temperament. But if someone was a social person, then all of a sudden hataki mambo ya watu, kanisa haendagi, chama hataki kwenda, if there's a family function, they'll rather not come. Alarm bells. Those are alarm bells. Being preoccupied with death, dying, or violence. All that person is talking about, thinking about, is about death. Even the movies they want to watch is about death, violence, suicide, homicide, anything to do with death and violence. That's a warning sign. Feeling trapped or hopeless about a situation. I remember recently I spoke to somebody and I asked them, well, how are you feeling? And they told me, I feel like I'm in a deep pit and I'm unable to come out of it. That is depression. And you should really take care of that person because those are signs of someone who is suicidal. Because they're feeling hopeless. How will they come out of, when you ask them, how will you come out of this hole? They have no idea whatsoever. Higher. Increase of use of alcohol and drugs, or even starting to use. Because there are those who don't use, but they start using. And then there are those who now increase. Every day they have to take some quantity for them to numb the pain. They say they feel numb. And that is what most of these people who are depressed or suicidal are trying to do. They are numbing their pain. Yeah, because they're in a hopeless situation. The other thing is changing normal routine. As I had mentioned, eating too much, having no appetite at all, sleeping patterns, either you sleep too much, or you don't sleep. Bad grooming. Someone used to be clean and take care of themselves. They don't shower. They don't dress well. You know how they are taking care of their own home. You can tell. You can pick those things. That is also a warning sign. Doing risky or self-destructive behavior, like using of drugs, just trying, people who are driving recklessly, they have a suicidal dish. By the way, be very careful in the road. Me, sometimes when I'm on the road, when someone drives recklessly, I always wonder, who yako peke yake? Ama they have a mental health issue. Because everybody who's on the road, they want to arrive where they're going safely. Yeah. So such behavior, self-destructive things too. And there's even now like the younger generation they'll cut themselves with razor blades, especially around the wrists or here, where the pulse, where the veins of the blood go. They will self-harm, cutting themselves with razors here and here at the wrists and also over here. That person is suicidal. Then now there are those people who give away their belongings. They start giving away their belongings. Hawaendi Marekani, they're not relocating. Yeah, it's not that they have won the lottery, they want to buy new things, but all of a sudden, this person is giving, and it's pricey. Most the possessions that we hold dear to. Mtu anapeana gari hivyo tu, na unajua anunui ingine na hasafiri, si ati anaenda Marekani. Or people who start getting their affairs in order, they start saying, I have a will, this is my will. And this person is not old, is not someone who has maybe elderly, is a bit elderly in age. And they'll start giving directions. Mimi ningekufa leo, hii gari yangu nataka ipewe fulani. Ama hii shamba, kuna shamba ninakuaga nayo such and such a place. If I die, give it to so and so. And there's no logical explanation why they are doing this. Most times, those people could be suicidal. Then there are those people who start saying goodbye to people as if they won't see them again. And then there are these people who develop personality change, drastic. And then they become severely anxious or agitated. People will have panic attacks over nothing and everything. And particularly when experiencing some of the warning signs that I've already mentioned, those people may be suicidal. Then, of course, I had mentioned, if one has ever attempted to take their life before, chances are you will try again. Let me give you a short story of which I've been given permission by one of my clients to share with you. There's an old man. He was in his 80s, a retired civil servant, so he was comfortable. And just before COVID happened, I think that was in 2019, this old man in his 80s tells his wife, you know what, I need to travel to, they had another farm elsewhere than where they were living. And in that farm, there were some cattle, I don't know, some livestock that used to be taken care of there. So he tells his wife, I want to rush to our farm to go and just, I've not been there for so long. And anyway, it's logical. Shamba ni ya mzee, wacha aende akaangalie mifugo zake. So the wife packed for him and the guy left. The guy goes to the shamba. There used to be a shamba boy who was living there, a gardener. And he tells the gardener, unajua kwa muda mrefu sijakupatia nafasi ya kwenda kusalimia wazazi wako. Sasa nataka juu nimekuja nitachunga hizi mifugo. What you will only do for me, make sure the troughs where they put water ziko, unikatakatie nyasi for a period of time. Hiyo ingine nitafanya, niko na nikikosa naweza ita mtu wa kibarua. And he made it look like, in fact, give me a number of someone who I can even give a job to come and help me. And the shamba boy was pleasant enough, give him even someone who would come and do for him kibarua. And he was happy because he had not gone home. So he never rang a bell, something may be off. So this guy picks his belongings and goes home. But it was a bit late. He couldn't get to his home. So what he did is that he spent in a nearing town. But I think he forgot one item. So in the morning, he decided, let me rush back to the farm, pick whatever item I had left there, and then I head back to see my parents. When he got home, outside everything looked abnormal. Number one, the livestock was making excessive noise. They had not been fed. There was a lot of mowing and lowing of sheep and whatever. But he went to the house. So when he knocked on the door of the house, the door had been closed, but it was not shut. It had not been locked with a key. So the more he knocked, the more it opened. So he just opened. He said, mzee, kuna kitu nilisahau, nimekujia. Mzee haitiki. So he decides, let me just be polite, go to my side of the house, pick what I need to pick, and then I look for the mzee. Maybe he's out. But once he got in, the way that house, as I was told, had been fashioned, there's a room on the right, a room on the left, and a middle room. So Mzee was sleeping on the left. So the young man saw the door was open, and there was a stool which had fallen. So he decided, hey, let me just find, maybe the Mzee is not feeling well. So as he went there, he couldn't see the Mzee on the bed, but he could see feet mid-air. And he looks up, and lo and behold, the Mzee had hanged himself. Many may ask, why would an old man commit suicide? We may never know, because he never left any letter. There was no note, and I still say sorry to that family. Many questions, and I hope God gives you peace and forgiveness to your old father. So, how can we help? Mutembe, you may be asking, is there hope? There is hope. There is hope. And there's an organization called Befrienders, who I will give their website. These people deal with suicide issues. And there's also the Anakada helpline, 1192 1192. If you're in Kenya, this is a number you can call. I checked with them, and they are always open 24/7 to speak with someone who's feeling suicidal and help you walk through. And of course, I'll also share my number. So for Befrienders organization, it's www.befrienderskenya.org, and the Nakada helpline 1192. When you're feeling like nobody will understand you, you can reach out to these people and they'll be able to work with you. My lines are also open. You can talk to me. But my office hours are between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., Monday to Friday. Yeah. So we have to become responsible for our mental health and our children's too, even our aged parents. Start taking stock of how you're doing as a person. You know, the way you ask someone, how are you? Can you be asking yourself, how am I? Am I okay? Am I sleeping well? Is my thought frame okay? Am I at peace? Yes, I've lost a job. Yes, I do not even know how my children will go to school. I don't have school fees. I don't have rent. I don't have this and that. Ask yourself, how am I? And once you ask yourself how you are, accept the situation. Chances are some situations may take longer to change, and there are others which may not. Yes, there are others which may not. Because like death of a loved one, that person is gone. We can't bring them back. Those are mysteries of the Creator. So it is up to you and I to accept that person is dead and it is okay. And you rise up. How will that person want you to progress? They'll want you to rise up and move on with life wherever they are. Okay? If you have lost your job, accept the job is lost, but that is not the end of you. You still have your mind, you still have the capability of your hands, you still have your skill. Start looking for jobs, apply. It doesn't hurt. In fact, you can even set yourself a target. Today, every day, I'll be applying this amount of jobs. If it's your business which is ailing, try other ventures. We are encouraged to have eight, actually, is it eight or seven? Seven streams of income in the book of Ecclesiastes. So it is not wrong to have side hustles, Kenyans. Have your side hustles. If business A is not working, business B will sustain you, and so on and so forth. I think even this COVID season has helped us to get to that point. The other issue, if you are because you notice when you start going to the trajectory, a declining one of abuse of substances, ask yourself, is it beneficial? How is it helping me? How is it helping my children if you are a parent? How is it helping my spouse if you're married? How is it helping my parents if you're a young adult? How will it help me in the future? Because we know, it's not something that we need to know. Substance abuse ruins lives, and it takes a very long time for you to come out of it because you have to work with a lot of will. And at that time, you're so damaged, you're empty on the inside. I don't know if most of you can remember a book that was released, a story about one of our athletes called Running on Empty. Most of us Kenyans, we are running on empty. Our souls are done. They have nothing. So the question is, what are you putting in your soul? What are you putting in your mind? Because if you're empty, when these issues rise, you have nothing to fight back. But if you have something to fight back with, and for me as a Christian counselor, what I'll tell you, scripture will help you fight back because it will give you hope. It will give you hope. You will read a word and you're like, oh, you mean the birds of the air? It's true. They do not sow, yet they eat every day. Imagine how hawaendagi kwa shamba. Drought is not even an issue to them because they will eat. Yeah? And then the word also tells us we are more precious than those birds. So if we are more precious than those birds, see, then you should just ask God, now, God, there is nothing. We have no food. Come. Just come. You don't even have to pray in so many words. In fact, God does not even, you write, you say a prayer which is like this big. Just say what is in your heart because He looks at the condition of our hearts. So, what are you running on? Are you running on social media, gossip? Are you running on hopelessness? What are you running on? The other thing, in this season, especially this season of COVID, we have to be our brothers and sisters' keeper. And this doesn't have to be our relatives only. This can be your neighbor, a friend, a colleague. People have gone through multiple losses of loved ones. And it's just not loved ones, even losses of income, losses of even well-being. Because we don't know about tomorrow. We don't know whether tomorrow we'll be locked in again as a county, wherever you're living. We do not know whether we'll have freedom, whether the curfew will ever even be lifted. That is also an issue. The freedom of, if I want to go and visit Mutembe and his family, we have dinner and then I can go home after midnight. That has been removed. So our well-being is limited. So it is up to you to tell yourself, okay, fine, I will make do. I need to be home at 10. This is what I'll be doing. Do free online courses if you have internet. There are so many. Read a book. Do something. Do an activity. If you're good with the hands, make beads, make necklaces. Do something. Because in fact, research has been done. People who work with their hands, most times they do not fall into depression. They are able to release as they are working with their hands. Kutengeneza kiondo, making beads, they are crocheting, someone who bakes or cooks, because you're working with your hands. So sympathy is not enough in this season, Mutembe. we have to empathize with people. We have to put on the shoes of other people. See from their side. Stop seeing from your side. Because you'll try and be logical. We are so good in giving people advice in Kenya. Stop giving people advice for now. Someone tells you, I don't have food. Stop asking them kama akona fuliza, ukituma mpesa kama itamezwa. Hapana. You have 2 packets of unga, go and take for them. Go and take for them. If someone tells you, I do not even know where we are going, I don't know whether, I don't even have rent, stretch out, welcome people to your home. Sukumaneni, kwani mtasukumana siku ngapi? As you try to come to help them out of that situation. Maybe this person does not have resources to take his family back to the countryside. So when he tells you, I do not even know what to do, stop fast coming. The main solution he needs right now, the main need is a roof over their head. Take them in for a night or 2. Then look for a way between you and his friends, how you can ferry his things home and maybe take him back to Shags for a period. Try and think and help. We have to empathize. And let's connect with global suffering so that we embrace selflessness. Because it's not only us who are suffering. Everybody is going through an issue. Everybody. It's commonly said, you're either coming into an issue, a trial, or getting out of it, or you are in one. And then the last 2 things that I want to tell people, call your friends and loved ones, pick up the phone, text if you can, ask, how are you? And really ask, how are you really? If a colleague was one of the people who are, who were fired, please just reach out to them. Don't sideline them. Just call them. Uko sawa, reach out to people. And then treat yourself with self-compassion, be kind, and love yourself. Nothing is permanent apart from death. Nothing is permanent apart from death. And suicide is death. There is finality there. So treat yourself to self-compassion, be kind, love yourself. And finally, and most importantly, love yourself and connect to God, because He's not done with you. No, He's not. Your situation is not hopeless. There is hope to come out of it. Kick out all the negative thoughts. And this is where prayer is very important. And it is important to connect to God, because you will draw your hope from there. Study scripture, pray, join a church community, start a hobby, start knitting, I don't know, something, do something. Because research has found out those people who have a sense of community, especially based on church, help may come through in such difficult situations. Also, train your mind to be positive. Because imagine it's us who train our minds to think the way we think. So speak truth and meditate on God's word. And let me just say this as I close. There's a scripture which I'm going to leave out there. It's Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. And this is one of my best scriptures that I like encouraging my clients with. It was Paul who has written very many epistles in the Bible. And he's talking to this Philippians and telling them, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, noble is having or showing fine personal qualities or high moral principles, yeah? Whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think on those things. Think on those things. So whenever you're thinking, when you start thinking, you're having suicidal thoughts, ask yourself, is this noble? Is it right? Is it pure? Is it lovely? Will it be admired by people? Is it excellent? Will I be praised? So and so took their lives. Think on the things which are praiseworthy, excellent things, true things. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. A tough topic. So many Kenyans are undergoing a lot, but unajua wale watu wako na stress hawaongeangi, wale wako kwa depression hata hawataki kufikia watu, so tutawafikiaje?
With all those warning signs I have told you, the moment you see someone is withdrawing, start making them your friend. Reach out to them, talk to them. If it's a neighbor and you've not seen them in a long while, just go and visit. Take a few packets of milk, some shopping. Sema, leo nisija kuona siku mingi, uko aje? And with all the warning signs I've told you, look at the surrounding. You can pick a lot. And as you engage them in talk, you'll be able to also draw where this person is. And then now at that point, you'll be able to help them. Do money determine the marriage? Wycliffe, keep quiet. Money should not determine the marriage. Money should not even determine your life because you're more important than money. When you are born when your fists were like this. And when you die when they're like this. You came with nothing and you have left all. You leave everything here on earth. Nobody is buried with their mansion, their certificates, their education, their wealth. You die and you're buried like this. I hope I've answered Wycliffe.
Yeah. No, actually anasema I wish this could be every week.
Thank you, Wycliffe.
Kuna that question pia.
The rate at which people are dying. Let me see. The rate at which people are dying in the name of love is worrying. We are witnessing young people killing each other because of relationships. Hii kitu ya kukula fare, pesa ya mtu alafu you run away pia inachangia. That is another topic all by itself. Why are you getting into that relationship? There's a notion which is totally misconstrued about relationships. You see, like when I was being dated, I'm not so old, but I'm not in the generation which is a bit younger. Nilikunywa maziwa ya Nyayo, let me say that. Na sisi wenye tulikunywa maziwa ya Nyayo, we do things totally different because we were taught differently. And that is where poor parenting is coming in. I was taught that my life is mine. When a man comes to court me, I should expect nothing from him apart his love and his devotion and respect for me and my parents and my people. And that is what young people don't know. So the moment, in fact, me usually say, the moment someone asks you for fare, run. You have no relationship with that person. Kwani kabla ukuje kwa life yake, hakuwa naenda kwenye anaendaga. They were not traveling. They were not calling people. See, they had a phone. Wanakuuliza pesa ya airtime ya nini? They were living. There's a mentality of parasitic love in Kenya, especially with the young people. And it is wrong. It's out. That is not love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is kind. So yeye mwenyewe hata ndiye.
So you mean umepotea?
I lost you for a moment.
Umerudi? Ndio tunauliza, we are not supposed to send fare.
Why are you sending fare? Kwani yeye alikuwa anaishi aje?
Huyo mtu mnakutana, then the following day, kama unanipenda unanitumia fare nikuje, kama mtumii fare umpendi, what is all that?
That is conditional love. Love is not conditional. Love is unconditional. Unconditional. Because look at this Motembe, and now that's why I'm telling you, people are living a lie, and it causes suicide because, higher. For example, let me just use Justin. Let me use you, Justin, as an example. Justin ni kijana. Maybe he's doing his first entry job. So it's not that he's getting a big salary. And truth be told, he may be supporting his parents with his young siblings back at home. Labda na kuna school fees anachangia mahali, ama yeye mwenyewe pia anajaribu kujidevelop. So labda anataka kurudi shule, afanye ka skill fulani, ama afanye driving, he still has his own life to live. So in as much as he's seeking for love, see, he was living. You've met now with so and so. Let's say you've met with Akinyi. And Akinyi, on the first time you meet, is a girl you like the way she looks presentable, meaning she is not destitute. She's not destitute. She should not be begging for fare. She should not be begging for credit or whatever other loan or whatever other money that they ask for. So just in the moment someone asks you for fare, take off. Because now what will happen, your love for you have maybe pure love towards her, but her, it's conditional on the condition that you'll buy my gas, you'll pay my fare, you'll buy for me airtime, or I can't chat with you, I don't have bundles, or my landlord. Kwani before you met with this person, kwani hakuwa naishi? That is the question. Now what will happen if you end up being with this person at the end? Remember, you're in entry level employment, so you're not earning a 3-digit salary. You're just trying to make ends meet. This person will not come into this relationship as a joint partner. They are coming as a parasite. Girls may hurl their stones however much they want to, but it's the truth. So what happens if Justin loses his job or he has a salary cut? Hiyo nyumba hakutakulwa, watu hawatakula, hawatavaa, hawatasoma. And that is what is actually happening. That is actually the canvas of marriages and relationships right now in Kenya. Yeah.
Well, okay. Daisy, you are professional 100%.
Thank you, Winnie.
Kuna mwingine hapa anauliza ile story ya kulala kwa office. Utafuta kazi.
Si lunch time, si uko na lunch time break. Hakuna ofisi yenye haina lunch time.
Oh.
Don't work during lunch hour. Sleep.
So Daisy,
Yeah. It's actually the HR policy.
HR policy.
Bakisha 1 minute. It's
in
the labor laws.
Oh,
in the labor laws of the nation of Kenya. Yes, 1 hour lunch hour break.
Wow.
Lala hiyo wakati.
Oh. Sawa. So your final word to our watu alafu tuache, we will meet another day. We must speak history ya fair because tukisema tutume fair, many guys will remain single. So it's a topic you have to cover.
No, they won't. They won't, because imagine, see the census ilitokea for every mwanaume 7. So hao wenye hawataki fair ni wengi na wako ready and willing, they are available. Nyinyi ndio hamwangalii vizuri, wako they're there. So my parting shot, I want to thank you so much for hosting me in this platform. I hope Kenyans can have hope. Hope is not lost. The moment you wake up in the morning, whether you're in your sick bed, whether you're going through whatever manner of trial, one thing you should know: nothing is permanent apart from death. So don't take your life, because that will be the only permanent thing. That is the only permanent thing, death. So wake up, jipe moyo, angalia the global suffering. You know, it's there, it's even in the news. Like now we know it's a fact that people are hungry in Turkana. You may not have food, but you may call Daisy and I'll share what I have. Mtu wa Turkana labda has even no one to call, or even they don't even have a phone to start with. So look at the bigger picture, the suffering in the world, and know that you're not alone and you're not forgotten. You're loved. By the way, be remembering that there's no one who, everybody in this world, you have people who love and care about you. And it's just that this season is a bit funny, that there's social distancing. So sometimes even when people are grieving, you may not go for maombolezi or such things, but you're not alone. You're not alone. We love you. We care for you. We want the best for you. And there's hope. There's hope. Rise up, look into the future, and the future is tomorrow, is today, is today. Live for today. Live for today. That's my parting shot.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think you should next time unafaa uongea about a topic kama hizo nimesema, all the courses what you can select one kama inaitwaje, kama drug abuse, unaelezea kama alcoholism, because these are things that they are causing depression, and mingi ni za kujiletea. Mtu akipenda starehe anajipata ashaingia kwa addiction na hawezi toka hapo, then unashtukia mtu amejiua for no reason. Wengine hizi marriages hatutakangi kuongea sana juu bado hatujaoa, so we ndio utakuja sasa juu you are married juu you are married, utakuja uelezee watu who they should marry.
Kwani
Nasikia
wewe
sasa
umeitishwa pia sana?
kama sahii unasema watu hawafai kutuma fare. That is the trend in Nairobi. You meet someone today, mkiachana hivi lunch time anataka fare back home, ni kama alikuja mguu. Yani it doesn't make sense at all. Na unaona sasa, those are
Exactly.
the people at the end of the day you end up marrying such a person, inakuwa ni living hell kwa marriage mpaka mnaachana ama mnauana. These are things in affect watu sana. I don't know how you can cut, you can define them
Yeah.
as topics. We discuss one at each and every week, at least one topic. We cover one topic. I would be very much humbled kuhost ueleze watu about those
No
things.
problem.
Otherwise, thank you so much and good night.
No problem.
And people,
Yeah,
acha
watu
tuone tena. We will
waseme
plan
nini?
with Daisy, then tukuje next. Asante sana.